pets and all that. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's your boy Jimdalf. Wait. Today's video, I will explain to you how I lost 100 and something pounds. I don't know how much I lost. I lost a lot of weight. Let's just say that. To be a little bit more serious. Growing up as a kid, I was always the fat kid. I was the big meat boy. I was a meatball. I looked like a meatball. I was a meatball. I was the meatball. But, you know, growing up, I was always made fun of. I was always called every fat kid joke ever. Most of the time I got like compared to like Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill. Like when Jonah Hill was in his fat prime, I'd be called stuff like that. You know, like I kind of took that as a compliment too because I thought it was funny. So being the fat boy, you know, you get labeled being fat. Oh God. Like the average fat kid, you know, looking for love, couldn't get the girl he wanted. Ended up getting, the girl would go with the Chad, and you weren't the Chad. You were the loser, sitting there crying in your bedroom, or whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. But so throughout high school, I weighed like 240, 250, and all that stuff, and I was a big dude, and at the end of the year I didn't really care. I just was happy I was leaving. So I went to college. You know, I didn't really gain any weight, honestly. I kind of just stayed the same weight because I was probably being a little bit more active than I usually was. So then after that semester I ended up transferring schools. I ended up transferring to ASU for film. Film was always a passion of mine, like clearly, I guess you could say. I don't know, I like doing anything involving editing, any type of film things. I like filming, I like cinematography, I like writing comedy, I like writing stand-up. I like doing all that stuff because, cause I'm a silly boy. I was really happy because I was like, man, I'm going to do something that I've always wanted to do, but then, like, it just, I don't know. So it went the complete opposite way, did a fucking whole 180. You just didn't suspect, like, what happened. So pretty much I would never go to class. I just needed to do my classwork online, so that's what I would do. I would just stay in my dorm and do my classwork online normally because there was just no reason to go to class because all my teachers put everything in whatever. So like I would sit in my room all day doing that, playing video games, making videos, editing stuff and all that stuff. And being at a university, like the food choices aren't really that good for you because it's just all fast food normally. So I would just sit there and eat fast food all the time, and so like my weight just bloated up at a good weight. Didn't really notice anything, I would ignore my weight problems, even though I've always wanted to lose weight. It never really happened. So it was just like, whatever, dude, you're gonna be fat the rest of your life. And I just kind of accepted it, I was just like, whatever. And so I just remember I also played intramural soccer at ASU because that was one of the things that I did active, but it was like only like a once a week thing. So I would just go play soccer like once a week for a game, and my team was really good. We won just to flex. We were really good. We were better than everybody there. So I'm a good goalkeeper, even though I was like almost 300. I was like 300 pounds at the time. So like one of our last games we had together, we decided to take a group picture, group photo. I was looking all cute, So anyways, we took a picture, and man, I looked at that picture and I was just like, God, I'm so fucking cute, but there's a big problem. I'm really fat. I was so big, and honestly, like, I really threw me off because that was like the first time I really saw myself for like how big I was, because normally I would ignore stuff like that, pictures. I'd take pictures, but I'd always out angle my pictures so I can look skinny. And even though I weigh like 300 pounds, how are you gonna look skinny when you're weighing like 300 pounds, bro? So I would ignore looking myself in the mirror and all that things, and it really got me thinking, what would it be like to be attractive? What would it be like to be a Tinder god and getting matches every 20 seconds and just having so much dates with my Tinder dates and stuff like that? Even though it doesn't really make a difference today, I still get no matches. It is what it is. If you're ugly, you're ugly. You gotta accept who you are. Am I right, guys? Yeah, give me some. So I've always wondered what it would be like, just little things like that, like the simplest things, like what would it be like to do a full pull-up? What would it be like to actually run a mile? What would it be like to not walk somewhere and be huffing and puffing? And what would it be like for my body not to hurt everywhere I go? And what would it be like, those simple things? And then walking around. I just remember walking around and seeing people that were older than me, and it's something that happens still to this day. And I'm always scared. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to look like that. I don't want to be that person who just binge eats bunch of pizza. I want to be able to whenever I have kids, like I'd be able to do cool things, you know. Like for example, I was hiking in the mountains here where I live, and it's like a 7 mile hike, and it was pretty hard, and like, or for most people, but it took me 2 hours, and I feel like the average person it would take maybe like 3 or 4 hours. When I was coming down, I saw this dude with his family, and he had like one of those he had like a backpack, a hiking backpack on, and it was just like had the little baby in there strapped in, and this dude's like walking up some steep ass mountain, and I'm like, bro, like you're freaking crazy, and because like there was like barely any pavement, like there's barely any room. It was like very steep and very slippery, and it's just rocks everywhere. I want to be like that dude. I want to have my baby strapped on my back while I'm hiking Mount Everest. That's exactly how I want to be when I grow up. But it really got me thinking, like, man, I really need to take a change. I need to initiate a step into where I'm going into the right direction, in which, you know, I did. You know, I as you can tell, like, look at me. It didn't really, like, I don't think I really lost any weight. I just knew I just started taking a step. I was still eating the same foods, but, you know, doing, like, working out, that stuff, it's a good step, you know. That's all I can say. It's better than doing nothing. That's, you know, way better. It's way better than sitting there and playing 12 hours League of Legends a day. After school, like, I decided, like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just left ASU, went home. And then for the summer, one of my buddies came back. That sounded so terrible, buddies. One of my best friends came back from England because he played soccer there, and he was also a big dude. He was a thick boy like me. We were the thick brothers. He had to lose a lot of weight, I know, just because he was where he was at, and that's what they needed him to do. So he was doing that too while playing, and so like he lost a lot of weight, and which really motivated me to do that too. And so we'd go to the gym during the summers, like we'd go every single day and just work out. And honestly, like that was probably honestly my favorite time with losing weight, was just doing that, you know, just having somebody to work out with. And like now I didn't really see how big of like a privilege it is to have somebody to work out with you every day, but like now I'm by myself, you know, most of the times. But he really like pushed me into that right direction, and like without him I probably would not have been to where like I look like today and what I'm doing today. And so I love Honeycrisp apples. Honeycrisp apples are the best apples. For diet wise, throughout that time, I kind of just like what I would do, I would just half portions, because what he told me, like what I learned from my friend is like calories is the most important thing to losing weight. And so like it's not keto, it's not just like I'm gonna eat a bunch of meat. Like you can still eat a bunch of meat and be in a calorie surplus, and it's not about that, you know. And what he told me, like just learning from what I learned from like nutrition wise from him, is like you got to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, and that's the only way you can lose weight. You can't lose weight just by freaking eating bunch of freaking what's that place called? You can't just be freaking eating Herbalife like every single meal. Like Herbalife, I feel like sometimes they like, I don't know, but like people like will do stuff like that, you know. They'll eat more food than what they normally eat. So one thing I just want to point out, if anybody says like don't eat fucking carbs and all that stuff, they're stupid. And like I don't believe in that. And like there's a bunch of like people will say something like, oh yeah, carbs make you fat or whatever. That's not true. You're an idiot. Being in a calorie surplus makes you fat. If you do carnivore, keto, vegan, whatever, if it works for you, good. If it works for you, do it. If it's sustainable for you, do it. Like that's all that matters. No, like I didn't really focus on like making a diet. Like I just focused on calorie deficit first, and that's what I did. And I lost the majority of my weight doing that. And then after that, like I started doing intermittent fasting, which was probably not the smartest thing. So like you'd hit plateaus, and I ended up hitting a plateau around like 240. That was my first big plateau, because I was down like 60, 70 pounds. I was stuck for like maybe like 4 or 5 months, or it took me like 4 or 5 months to lose like 20 pounds. And I did. I got down to 220, and then throughout the rest of that semester, I stayed like that. Or the rest of that year, I stayed like that until the summer, and then up until like winter time or whatever, the fall semester for school started in 2017. I ended up losing I was stuck at like 220. It got down to like probably maybe like low 200s at the end of the year, and then coming into the next year in January, I ended up getting down to 190, which is pretty cool. And like I stayed at that same diet. I was still going to the gym every day, doing stuff like that. I was making sure I was staying active, and so then like once I got down to that weight, I was kind of stuck, you know. I ended up posting like a picture of myself, and like I compared the two, and I never like took a step back and looked at myself, because I liked ignoring that past person of who I was. But anyways, I put it on my Twitter. I'm like, I want to get some Twitter clout off this bitch, and you know, I said I'm gonna put this on Twitter. I'm gonna get some clout off of it. And what do you know? One of the biggest YouTubers commented on it, not the flex, just to say I'm pretty special. It doesn't really matter, but it was Mr. Beast. And like, it was pretty cool because I was like in this scenario, you know, and never really like took a step back, but it was pretty cool. Like somebody like that saw my like my weight loss, and I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. Like I didn't realize what I could do, and like honestly, like it really gave me like a lot more like more confidence as a person, because like, you know, like being like recognized by somebody like that was pretty cool. And Mr. Beast, if you're watching this video, please give me $10,000 or give me a Ferrari, and we can make a video off of that. Thank you. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. I really don't care. I don't like money. But if the option is available, please do it, please. After that, I was stuck. I didn't know like what to do, because like, you know, once I was at that weight, you know, I thought I would have a six pack, but I didn't have that, and that's the reality. Like the one thing I've always noticed with weight loss, like when you expect something, you're not gonna get that. Like it's gonna be a little, maybe way more than that. Like maybe another like 20 or 30 pounds. Like if you're thinking 190, if you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have a six pack on 190, there might be a chance, but unless you're like fucking 6'4", 6'5", like yeah, you'll probably have a six pack at that weight. But my weight, no, unless you're like a bodybuilder type physique, or you're taking some type of steroids, some PEDs, like it's probably what's going to happen. Or you're able to sustain your muscle pretty well, I don't know. But I was kind of just stuck. Ended up getting a crush on this girl, and so like I never really like, because I like throughout the years, you know, I never really cared for relationships. I'm like here and there, and it'd be nice to have one, but like I had the crush on this girl, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna lose the rest of this weight, and hopefully she notices me. And like it's just, that's what motivated me. And like, you know, like you'll have those weird stretches of motivation, like that's what I'm trying to say, you know. But you know, that worked for me. I ended up getting down to 168, and so like I was stuck at that weight for a while, and like I didn't really like do anything, you know. I had a really bad problem with binge eating, especially at that weight, because I was starving myself. And so for when I was around that weight and I lost that initial from like 190 something to 168, my diet was really weird, and my working out was pretty crazy. For example, like a daily like thing, what I would do for a diet, I would sit there and eat ass for like Pharrell Williams. I'd wake up at 2:30 in the morning, 3 a.m., do my cardio, and I would do cardio for about maybe like 2 hours. Like it would be like low impact cardio or like some type of high impact cardio. Like I'd run around, go to my gym's apartment and do something in there for a couple hours, and then after that I would go to work, and then normally for lunch I would get like a black coffee from freaking what's that place called, Starbucks? Yeah. And I would just get that, and I'd intermittent fast all day, and then after work I would go to the gym and I'd work out for probably about an hour and 30 minutes, and I'd do another hour cardio, and then I'd come back and finally eat I would eat like 4 egg whites, two whole eggs, and then I'd make a protein shake. But like for my protein shake, I wouldn't really even say it's this protein shake, because like I'd put protein and I'd put ice in a blender, and then I'd use water and just blend it so it could have a little bit more density and make me feel a little bit fuller. And so I would do that and eat the egg whites. That would be my lunch. I don't remember. I'd have like some snacks and stuff through then, and then once I'd go to bed, I'd make dinner, and I'd have like chicken and vegetables. And I would eat that all the time and do the intermittent fasting. And I literally still don't understand how I did that for like 6 months. But like eventually, once I got to a point, I ended up having a binge eating problem, because I'd have cheat meals. And so like I'd get 3 pizzas from Pizza Hut and some breadsticks, and I would eat all of that. And I'd go to the gas station and get more food and just eat more food. And I would eat like 12,000 calories, maybe 13,000. I don't know. I'd eat so much food, man. It was crazy, because like once you get to that point, like I could probably eat way much more food, but like I just remembered I'd eat all that food, and it would probably like put me back at calorie maintenance, because I didn't really gain any weight, lose any weight, or whatever. It would be a repeating process for maybe like a month. I would do that a couple months. And so like I had a really bad binge eating problem for a while, and it'd stick there for maybe another year. I got really hungry one time, and I'm like, I'm just going to change my diet. So I decided like I'm going to eat like 3,000 calories a day. And so I started doing that, and then I got a lot stronger, but I also gained like 30 pounds in the matter of 6 months, which was really bad. Got fat, ended up losing the weight again, and then I stayed around like 175, 185 for maybe like another like for the rest of the year or so, up until the first thing of quarantine for coronavirus. Like that's when I So when I gained weight again, because I got depressed. You know, the gyms weren't open, so most people dealt with that, and so I really messed up on that, honestly. And I didn't really like take initiative or like take a advantage of that time of like cardio and doing outdoor stuff, and I didn't do that. So I stayed home, played League all day, did school stuff, and just got fat. I was like doing what I did before when I got really big. The gym's opened back up. I ended up losing like a couple pounds, and the gym's closed again. And this time I'm like, I'm not going to do what I did last time. And then I ended up getting more of that weight off, and I'm more outdoorsy. I do hikes all the time now. Make sure I work out like 3 times a week, do like a full body workout just to make sure like I maintain what I have right now. I haven't binge eaten since quarantine, which is really cool because like I haven't gone that long without a binge eating episode, and I don't know what I did, but whatever I'm doing now is working. If I wanted to make a video on what my diet is now, that'd be interesting, or a day in the life of eating with Jimdalf, and that'd be pretty cool, I guess. So it's whatever, it doesn't really matter, but that's all I have to say. There's not a lot of things. I tried to summarize it as best as I could, even though it's like a 20-minute long video. This is very short in terms of storytelling because I'm not a storyteller. I'm a gamer. All I have to say today, I don't know what else I could say, honestly, but there's a lot more to the story, and I just kind of just skipped through a bunch of it. But anyways, if you guys want to do whatever, I really don't care. If you like this video, like it. If you like eating apples, eat Honeycrisp apples, and go watch Dark on Netflix, please, because I love that movie or show or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.